Today, we are going to celebrate all that is artsy. Hi, I'm Julie Faith Ann Balzer, your host. And no celebration is complete without a creative component. Let's meet Laurie Mika to celebrate love with a charming heart ornament. Now, Laurie is a super polymer clay nerd expert. I don't know what to call you, but we are making the beautiful heart ornament that you see on the table, which is the same actually as the little heart ornament that you're wearing around your neck as a necklace, which is the same as this gigantic heart ornament that we have here. So there's lots of possibilities with scale.
Right, and I love hearts, so I'm happy to share some of my techniques for creating.
Oh, you love hearts?
I love hearts. I'm passionate about polymer and hearts, so
cool.
Happy to share what I know.
Cool. So how do we start?
We are going to start off with a ball of clay. I always start with 2 packages of clay rolled together, and in this case, I'm ready to go right here on my slab that is about 1/8 of an inch thick. And so what
you just roll that out with a rolling pin.
I roll it out with a rolling pin, no magic there. Even a piece of PVC pipe works great. So what I really am excited about sharing is using the silver leaf, because I love using
so
golden
shiny.
silver leaf, and it's shiny and beautiful. And the best way to use this is I'm just going to place it down on my slab like this, and then you kind of lightly burnish it with your finger, and then it's wonderful because it has this paper backing and it just peels off
like magic. It sticks and the paper doesn't. So that's, you don't want to push too hard because then you might dent the clay.
Right. So it's ready to go right now. And then what I'm going to do is put this deeply etched rubber stamp on there. And once it's on, it tends to be squirrely on that silver leaf. So you really have to hold it in place and really kind of get a deep impression, which ends up looking like this.
Which is so cool.
Right. I have a heart-shaped ornament cutter that is perfect for this technique, and any shape would be great.
I was going to say, if you use cookie cutters with clay, you don't want to use them with food afterwards.
No, exactly, no. But there's so many great shapes, and I'm just going to put this in the center of my slab.
So you can really audition the different areas that you want and choose where you want it to be.
Exactly, but I'm just going to go straight in the middle, right like that. And you have to really give it a fairly good push like that, and out it comes, and you've got this lovely heart ready to go. But because of the silver leaf, it does need to have some protection on it, or else it'll tend to flake off. And so in this case, what I like to do is actually paint a little bit of acrylic paint on it. It also helps to make it a little bit less blingy and softens it up a little bit.
So it antiques it. And what you're saying is, even though the clay is sticky now because it's sort of wet and been conditioned, the thing is, after you essentially, quote unquote, fire it in a oven and to harden it, then the leaf might fall off if you don't do this step.
It does. I know through practice that it does tend to fall off a little bit if you don't get it on there with some sort of a sealer, but I find that the acrylic paint also does that. And it also tones it down and gives it more of a vintage feel, which I really like.
I want to talk about what you're doing here, which is you're actually now using black acrylic after you've used that kind of translucent brownie orange, and that's really getting deep into the crevices to do the antiquing. So you're actually sort of killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
Exactly. And then while I'm at it, I usually take a piece of extra clay, and in this case, I stamp the word love with these really nifty alphabet letters that kind of snap together. So it's a real easy way to add text, which I love to do in most of my pieces.
And I noticed the color is different here than it is obviously down there.
Right. And using this wax-based product, it'll make the letters stand out so that they're more readable. So
and you just apply that with your finger. Super cool, super easy.
Right. Super easy to do. But now we're not quite done, because we want to embellish this beautiful heart. And so what I'm going to do with that is demonstrate how I add some of these beautiful ornament, the charms that I have. In this case, a crown. Everything has a crown. You'd want to kind of figure out where your word's going.
Look how that polymer just curves.
And start adding some of these embellishments. You will also want to use a skewer, and I'm going to show this right here, how I have made the holes in the top of the heart so that you have some place to hang either wire or ribbon or something like that. So that's an important thing. Just feed the skewer right through there. And then what you want to do is, in order to get these to stick, you can't just push them on there. They're not going to stick, especially with that silver leaf. So I take a little toothpick, and I take some white glue, and let's say for this piece right here, I'm going to take it and put that where I want it. Take my heart within a heart, and I'm going to use my pencil eraser, kind of set it with my finger, and then really set it in there with the pencil eraser.
I love all these tools that are like things that we have sitting around, and you've used a crystal there, you're mixing gold and silver and all sorts of stuff together. Now, I wonder, Laurie, would you mind just showing us, because I know you said very specifically about these holes, you had a trick where it couldn't go all the way through or something.
Well,
would you mind just showing us how that goes?
Sure. What you want to make sure is that when you're doing this, that you're not close to that edge, or when it bakes, it's going to maybe crack. So you want to pretty much have some space around it.
Now, you are not poking your finger. I know your hand is under there.
Right. So you want to get through the hole, but you don't really want to get right next to that edge.
And what I think is so clever is that this little finding that you've put over that hole that you've poked, that is something I know from jewelry making as a bead spacer.
Right, and that's exactly what it is, and it works perfectly in this project to kind of create a decorative edge around the hole, covers up the hole, and it allows for something that is actually a little bit more attractive than just seeing that hole poked in there.
Super cool. So what do we have to do to finish this off, kind of?
So at this point, you know, I would put those on there, and again, use the pencil eraser. It's a great tool for getting those really embedded into the clay. So that's an indispensable tool, is your finger and an easy toothpick and a pencil eraser.
All those good things.
Right.
So then you just bake this in the oven, right, according to the manufacturer's instructions, to harden up the polymer.
Right. That's going to go in, and it doesn't matter if it's got, mostly anything can go through the baking process, so it's really fabulous.
That's so cool, and you end up with this amazing heart ornament, which you can take to enormous length if you want to go for the big bad boy, which even has an image on it.
Yes.
Super cool, Laurie.